So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and unbox and use this. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and use it for the first time on, I have this battery and this battery. They're connected in parallel. And what this does is it starts and controls all the stuff with that motor, and it runs this here. It's a commercial fishing tool. It's a line puller and it's run by an electric motor. And basically I went out a couple days ago, so I drained down these batteries using that high torque motor. So I'm going to go ahead and use this for the first time on those two batteries that are hooked up like they're hooked up. So this should be a good test. What I'm actually going to do, I'm starting to go ahead and move to solar and wind with the tiny house slash cabin I'm building up on top of this mountain. I mean, I'm off grid up there, so I'm just starting to go ahead and experiment with solar and windmill technology. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbox this baby right now. All right, so I've got it all disconnected. I've got an Optimate 7 charger up at the cabin already, so I'm pretty familiar with how this stuff works. Okay, so here's everything that it has. It's got the panel right here, and it's a 10-watt panel, which kind of threw me a little bit, but you know, we'll go ahead and see if this works or not for charging up these two batteries. And those are not true deep cycle batteries. They're marine batteries, but they're just starter batteries. They're not really what I should be using for this setup here, but they work and I had them, so that's what I use for that. Okay, so what I have here is I've got this. I'm not going to use this for this particular application. You should know what that is if you're watching this video, I would think. Okay, and then so what I'm going to end up using is these alligator clip deals because it's just quicker and easier. So I had to pull the directions just to make sure I was doing this right. All right, so what happens here is the solar panel hooks in there. Simple enough. Boom. And then this hooks into here. Simple enough. Now I was curious about how much wire it would give me, and I mean, it doesn't look like too terrible much wire, so you'd have to have this pretty close to whatever battery you were charging. You couldn't have it too far away. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to hook this thing up, and it's pretty cloudy out today, so I'm not going to know too terrible much, but I mean, it'll definitely tell me something. I mean, I'm just going to set it right up there, just kind of pointing straight up. I don't, you know, I'm not going to do all the crazy perfect angles and all that fun stuff, because generally with a panel like this, I mean, you might hook it up like that, but I don't know, probably wouldn't. I mean, I'm sure if I, you know, this thing works out for me and I put it on the cabin tiny house deal, then I will go ahead and hook it up very correctly and all that fun stuff. So go ahead and hook up negative first, and what this will do, since I have them hooked up in parallel, it'll charge both batteries. All right, so the check light's on and it's reading right there, so that's charging. It's not at the save thing. All right, so it looks like what's going on here is, since I have that light flashing red every 3 seconds, what that means is all right, so I just figured this out. Okay, so basically what we got going on here is LED 2, 3, or 4 indicate charge progress, while solar LED number 1 is flashing. So what's going on here is, since that is right there in the middle, and what this is telling me is that's number 3, and that's flashing. So what is going on is it's got 12.3 to 12.49 volts, 61 to 90%. So it's probably closer to 61% because I used the heck out of this thing, these batteries, the other day when I, you know, took this commercial fishing vessel out. So we'll go ahead and see how, see how long it takes for that to go ahead and charge up these two batteries. And those are both pretty, that's a lot of, you're over 100 amp hours between those two batteries. So, all right, I just went ahead and I lowered this to go ahead and flush out the system with fresh water, because what I run in is brackish water. And the sun, there's the sun right there. I mean, it's definitely cloudy as can be. But just a quick thing I'm going to throw in here. I don't know why in the heck, see, when they make these, they don't make these caps with a freaking rope or anything on them, so it's easy to lose these. The people at Suzuki, you need to go ahead and make a piece of steel somewhere on here and put a magnet on this, so that when you take this off, you can just put it right there or something. Because, I mean, that thing, just being able to lose that is just stupid. And I just ordered a 5,000 watt windmill as well. So, I mean, there should be a link. If you look at the top right of this video, at the end of it, you will see all of my solar, windmill, tiny house, cabin, building, carpentry. That playlist, basically I built a freaking house by myself, me and my wife, on top of this mountain. So, I mean, that playlist will be right there. So check that out as well, where I go into a whole bunch of anything that might be prepper off-grid related. So check out that playlist. So, but I ordered that windmill and it should be here in like a week or so. 5,000 watts, and I'll go ahead and I'll do something on that as well. I mean, I'm just starting to get into solar and windmill energy, because like I had mentioned earlier, I'm trying, that's the direction I'm trying to go with this off-grid tiny house deal I got going on, I'm building. All right, so to make this a better test, what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and I'm running these two batteries down by just running this. I just have it secured, so it's just running. So I'm running the batteries down, because when I just hooked up the regular charger I use to go ahead and top this thing off when I'm done, because the fact that I have these two batteries hooked together in parallel, and the engine, the outboard, is connected to that battery, the magneto in that freaking outboard does a pretty good job of charging both these batteries, apparently, because when I just hooked this up to it, the thing I normally use, it read that they were both at 90%, or the combination of them was 90%. So I'm gonna go ahead and run these down until it's probably, 60% or so, and then I'll go ahead and hook up the solar charger, because that'll give us a better idea of how long it takes to go ahead and charge up 100 amp hours and give us a better test. So I'm just running these batteries down now. Okay, now I've got it hooked up there and it's reading low. So what that tells me is that those batteries that are set up, they're connected together in parallel, they're below 50%. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut that off now and then hook the Optimate up. All right, so now I've got the Optimate hooked up, and as you can see, it is on the battery critically low save point, because I really drained those batteries down. So now we'll go ahead and see how long it takes to get both these batteries all the way charged up using a freaking solar panel, and the sun's not even out. Okay, so I just unhooked the Optimate charger from the battery, and I hooked up the shore power, and it's only been 6 freaking hours, and it's been cloudy and rainy, and I mean, there hasn't been any real sunshine all day. And this thing is reading that battery is freaking full. Both those batteries are full already. So, I mean, that's freaking amazing. That is just absolutely positively amazing. I'm going to go ahead and unhook the shore power from it and put the Optimate back on it. All right, so I plugged the Optimate back in, and it's reading like it's reading right there. So, I mean, you mean to tell me that in 6-7 hours, this stupid little solar panel on this Optimate deal charged both these batteries, which together are over 100 amp hours at 20 hours, all the way up. I mean, that's just phenomenal. And I mean, that's awesome. So, I mean, so far this thing is just like a freaking miracle from what I'm looking at here. I mean, I have to test out further on the cabin and what have you, but I mean, so far it's looking like a phenomenal device here. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.